First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone while I learned his truth, and also to those elect that are scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great, powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type of day lesson is news and prophecies, world tension. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we get started with today's lesson, I have a few news articles. We'll start here first by the one by CNN World. And it reads that India and Pakistan trade blame as conflict spirals. Let's get a little bit more. It said what we're covering. It said India reports attacks. It said Indian officials said Pakistan fired missiles and drone at military sites in India. And India administered Kashmir as tensions have ricocheted up between the long-time rival. So we've been seeing this for the last week or so, that they're going back and forth. Could this be a distraction, or could this all been engineered or designed? But one thing about we already know that the Lord is causing these nations to rise against nation. Also, we know that what the heathens are raging, they constantly imagine a vain thing. And this right here, this pretty much, this tension is all over. I think it was saying that Pakistan had unalived a couple of tourists, I think it was, and it started spiraling out of control. And also we know that this right here, this conflict right here can spiral into a bigger conflict, which in fact is what? World War III, the last and final war, the war that ends all wars, right before what? The great and glorious return of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. I did a little report on this, I think it was last week, but this right here has constantly been kind of staying in the news. So one thing about it, the Lord said, keep not silent, warn them for me, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. So this right here, this going back and forth. And also, the number one thing, the major thing is saying that things could go nuclear. So any given time, the one can nuke the other. But one thing about we knowing that the Lord is moving the chess pieces around. And also we know that the Lord is gathering the nation for the conservation of Zion. So at any given time, a conflict or some type of uprising can break out any part of the world, because right now we are living in the end time. We'll witness the end right before our eyes. A lot of people still are being unbelievers, but these things right here is happening, so all the gainsaying, all the unbelief is about to be a thing of the past. Because who would have ever thought, even though they had tensions in the past, but now it's get to the point where someone is getting ready to push the button. So let's get a little bit more of this. It said Pakistan claims Pakistan claimed Pakistan denied the attacks, but earlier said it killed unalive 40 to 50 India soldiers along the de facto border in Kashmir and downed over 24 India drones. So meanwhile, India confirmed it has targeted air defense systems in Pakistan. And now it's telling you about the death toll, and stuff like that. So this thing is constantly rising, and it's, all because of this tourist massacre, what had happened. But we already know that war is going to be just about on all fronts. And also it's going to come to what? American shore. A lot of people right now are watching what's going on between India and Pakistan. Also what's going on between Russia and Ukraine. Also, it's already rumors of China that's constantly saying that China is going to invade Taiwan. So, war is all over the place. Also, right in our own backyard. So it's already was saying that if Iran was saying that if Israel or America attack their nuclear facility, they're going to retaliate. So, back and forth, tensions is constantly rise. That's why, named this one here, News and Prophecy, World Tension, because we seeing that tension throughout the world, just like the Bible says. And we seeing that these evils are constantly growing. So let's get another one. So this right here, we got to keep our eyes on this right here, because this could be a distraction for something bigger. We already knowing how the devil gets down. He'll put your eyes over here, and he'll be doing something else over there. You understand what I'm saying? This left hand energy is at work also, but this is all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. The Lord is causing these heathens to rage. They imagine a vain thing. One is fighting against another. And also we seeing these new alliances is coming up against what? America, Babylon the Great. There's so many things that's going on in the news. A lot of things happen. So let's go here. Let's go to this one here. It's another report I want to get. It's here. It's right here by the Guardian. I might open it up and I might not. It says here, Israel carries out fresh airstrikes against the Houthis rebels in Yemen. So we're not going to open it up. You can go back to it, but this has been going on for some time. So they bombing the hell out of Yemen, over there in that Red Sea area over there. What I'm saying? Just like the Bible said, when you go to Joel chapter 2, I think about around verse 20 or 21. So one thing about it, we already know there's a lot of military build up in the Yemen, over there, the Red Sea area, also in the Persian Gulf. What I'm saying? This Bible is spot on. So right now they constantly ignore these airstrikes, trying to root out these Houthi rebels, which in fact is backed by Iran. So we already know this. There's rumors behind rumors that they want to go into Iran, but we already know once that happens, we know that they will be totally destroyed. The Lord is constantly moving these chess pieces around. It said Israel carried out fresh airstrikes against Houthi rebels in Yemen. So these things are constantly picking up. Military presence is constantly building up in the so-called Middle East. And also right here in our own backyard is already rumors of war, civil unrest. We already know about the economy. It's on the decline. We know about the supply chain lines are constantly, diminishing, about the ports. What I'm saying? All hell could break loose at any given time. A great economic collapse, a great crashing in the hills. And we already know what all these roads are going to lead to, that digital infrastructure also under your skin. So we go through these things left and right. So this is where we at, and it's talks after talks about things, could go nuclear. Also, war is in the air left and right, but the end is not yet. So we seeing right here that these things are constantly picking up. I got one more. Let's go to this one right here. It's another one I want to, just right here. And let's see here. This one here by Newsbreak. And I got a little short video. I don't have too much today, but, I'm hoping and praying that you will get edified. It said Army Rikers deployed along Mexican border. So we seeing right there that, Donald Trump said this when he said if he get elected again, that he was going to use the military to secure the border. Also now saying he's going to use the military. He's going to federalize the military to work hand in hand with the local police that we already have. So trying to make this what you call a police state, militarized, lockdown mandates, a lot of these things come into play, but they saying that they're trying to secure the border and also, fighting crime and drug against the Mexican cartel. But one thing about it, we're not ignorant of Satan's device. We know exactly what this is all about. If they're trying to keep someone out or someone in. So one thing think about that. So we already know we coming upon these times. So right now they got these strikers, these tanks down here on the Mexican and Texas border, so man, so hey, this looking more like what? World War III, you know what I'm saying? One thing about it, that why is all this military presence right here in our own backyard? And a lot of our people are going on with their daily life, putting off from day to day, the land, prolonging, playing games, and all the games about to be over. We got the military built up right there on the southern border, but it's saying it's to secure the border. But we already know how this is going, and we seeing that our economy, our infrastructure, our way of life is plunging into what? Into chaos, order out of chaos. So now let's get a quick precept. Then we'll start today's video. Let's go here to Ecclesiasticus, Sirach chapter 5 and verse 7. We get this all the time. It said, make no terror to turn to the Lord. It said, put not off from day to day. It said, suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. So one thing about it, it's time, stop delaying. Time to stop what you call procrastinating. I can't say that word quite right, but you understand what I'm saying. Stop delaying. Stop putting off from day to day. Start, so, I do this tomorrow. Oh, that's not going to happen. This ain't going to happen. Steady wasting time, and time is running out. And one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to come back and to destroy this place. That's what we constantly warning you about. But a lot of our people, they don't want to hear the prophets of doom. They want to hear smooth things, sweet things. Everything will be all right. It's just right now, it seemed that way, but everything will work out. But you keep believing that. You know what I'm saying? You're in for a rude awakening. Let's read this once again. Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 7 said, make no terror to turn to the Lord. Put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth. And in thy security, a lot of people were in their security. When they say peace and safety or peace and security, it says here, it says, shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. So that's where a lot of people getting ready, these things are getting ready to happen suddenly, when they say peace and safety, peace and security, in thy security. So a lot of people in their security, they're in their comfort zone, they are going on with their daily lives, constantly, doing whatever they want to, that do thy will spirit, constantly being very proud. But the Lord's getting ready to cease all of this, The great fear of the Lord is getting ready to come back upon this earth once again. In the middle of the Lord, we constantly warning you left and right. Let's read verse 8. It says, set not thy heart or your mind upon goods unjustly gotten, for they shall not profit thee in a day of calamity. So any given time, we know about this India and this Pakistan. This conflict could spiral into something bigger, cause a chain reaction, which in fact we already knowing that we read upon all hell breaking loose in the Middle East. And also keep your eyes upon Israel, the least of the flock. So tension is constantly rising. World tensions, all around the world is tensed up. Let's get one more. Let's go here to Psalm chapter 2. Psalm chapter 2 and verse 1. Psalm chapter 2 and verse 1. It said, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? So that's exactly what's happening. There's something that is very not proper. Whether they going back and forth, whatever it could be, it's not going to mount up to a hill of beam. The Lord is getting ready to set the record straight. These nations are getting ready to go down. These nations are getting ready to go into captivity. What was done to us is getting ready to be done to them. So no matter what they're trying to do, what type of policies and different things they're trying to put into place, talking about peace, bringing these alliance. It does not matter. We are at the end. We're at the end of an age. It's over. And one thing about it, the heathen are raging. And one thing about it, but the Lord is getting ready to shut them down and cut them off. And one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to set that righteous kingdom, which in fact is the kingdom of heaven that dwells in right. So they imagine a vain thing, something that is not profitable, something that is no value, it's good for nothing. So, what I'm saying? Why do the heathen rage? What I'm saying? Imagine a vain thing. And what I'm saying? Thinking that they're going to get some type of one up. What I'm saying? They thinking that there will be the next superpower. The next superpower, what is coming, is the kingdom of heaven that dwells in righteousness. So now, I started today's video. I done talked enough. Let's start today's video, and after the video, we'll start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified.
Nuclear war could break out at any time, Pakistan's defense minister has warned, after India launched deadly missile strikes. At least 30 people, including 4 children, were killed when Indian forces hit 9 suspected terror sites in Pakistan. Islamabad has called it an act of war and says it will strike back on its own terms. Pakistan's defense chief said if nuclear options are triggered, the responsibility lies with India. Experts say a full-scale conflict could kill 125 million people and plunge the world into darkness, triggering famine worldwide.
We have breaking news right now. Pakistan's prime minister has confirmed that Pakistan's armed forces have been given the green light, have been authorized to respond to India's strikes. What this means is we're about to have further and significant escalation between two nuclear powers in Asia. This happened just about a few hours ago, where Pakistan's prime minister announced that his forces will have to respond after India launched strikes into Pakistan. According to CNN, those strikes were the deepest that India has ever struck into Pakistan in years, really since the 70s. Now, Turkey, Iran, the European Union, and elsewhere are all calling for a dramatic de-escalation in the region. Remember, these are two nuclear powers. Both Pakistan and India have nuclear capabilities. And a full-scale war between the two of them without any de-escalation, well, that'll be bad for everyone. Spread the word. I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack shortly, link to my bio, so subscribe for free and follow along for all the news.
Breaking news. Tensions are rising between Mexico and the United States after tanks, yes, tanks of the U.S. Army were spotted on the border with Mexico. This is something that has never been seen in modern U.S. history. War tanks patrolling the border between Mexico and the United States. And although, according to the Donald Trump administration, they say they're doing this to contain immigration and the invasion of illegal immigrants, and who knows what and who knows how much. At the same time, they say the border is already secure and that no one is crossing thanks to this administration, which makes you wonder, then why do they have tanks on the border? And, well, logically, many have come to the conclusion that this could be something much bigger that they're not telling us yet. So whatever is going on, may God bless and protect us. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think.
So we're seeing that tensions is constantly rising up across the world. You know, seeing the Mexico and Texas border right down there. Also, tensions is rising between Canada and the U.S., also the Middle East. All that tension is constantly rising. India, Pakistan, Russia, Ukraine, China, Taiwan, and the list go on and on. So we're living in the last day, where a lot of people believe it or not. So now I start here, a quick lesson through the Spirit. I have much today. Let's see here, Luke chapter 21. We'll start up at verse 9. Luke chapter 21 and verse 9. And it reads, but when ye shall hear of wars and commotion, so be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. So that's exactly where commotion goes into, what Noah's a lot of ruckus right now. We're seeing it's back and forth, mischief, rumors, back and forth, a lot of tension, a lot of conflicts, nuclear talks. A lot of things, peace talks, these things are back and forth. But be not terrified, because the end is not by and by, or the end is not yet. So we are very close, that these things are getting ready to make full tuition. All hell is getting ready to break loose. And also we at the beginning of sorrows, these birth pain. We're constantly seeing it, growing left and right. The evils are constantly increasing. A lot of people, these nations are what you call in retaliation mode. So things are getting ready to pop off. One event can set it all off. Could it be a black swan event? Could it be what you call a red dawn event? The list go on and on. But we already know that it's going to happen. Trust and believe in Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. Luke chapter 21 and verse 10 said, then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. So that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing what's going on once again with Pakistan and India, China and Taiwan, Russia and Ukraine. The list go on and on. The U.S. and Mexico, the U.S. and Canada. You see how this is going. Nations are rising against nations. The Lord is setting that variance, that division. The Lord is constantly causing these things to happen. The Lord is moving the chess pieces into place. The Lord is changing the vibration. The Lord is exposing things. The Lord is constantly letting these prophecies speak right now, because we're at the end, and the Lord is getting ready to come out of his place, and totally destroy, this place as we know it, this age. And we cannot wait, man. So these kings are rising against nations. The Lord is moving these chess pieces around. We are very excited. Verse 11 says, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilence, and fearful sights, and great sign shall there be from heaven. So that's exactly what we're seeing. Earthquake pretty much every day. You know, what my just like I have a sister out in California area, she said the ground be shaking, all the time. So, everything is on pretty much shaky ground any given time. And see, a lot of people still, right now, they got liberty, they have opportunity, right now, while it's sunshine. This is the quiet before the storm. We goes over these things left and right. He's saying the same thing over and over. The Lord said, keep not silent, warn them for me. Because when it go down, they ain't going to be no more talking. So we already know we're coming upon famine. Seeing what's happening with this, the economy. Seeing what's going on with these ports. Can't you see it's right before y'all? We're seeing what's going on with this new digital system that they're getting ready to put into play. A lot of things that happen, so it's going to bring forth domino effect. Food shortage, rolling blackout, cyber attacks. A lot of things are coming. No internet, no water, no shelter. All hell is getting ready to break loose. Fearful sights, great signs shall there be from heaven. We already know about a lot of these different signs that's coming. The eclipse, these blood moons, a lot of things that constantly have volcanic activity throughout the earth. Also these underwater volcanoes are erupting. So the right now the earth is constantly is speaking right now. It's speaking. The Lord is visiting the earth that He created. So we're saying that these tensions are constantly rising up. These escalations every day. So now let's go here to Revelation chapter 6. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4, straight to the point. It says here, and there went out another horse that was red, to represent what the so-called white man. Red represent crimson, goes into what a criminal, you know what I'm saying? And so it says here, let's read from the top again. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4 says, and there went out another horse that was red, the so-called white man, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. So that sword goes into his blessing, which in fact, is what his military goes in, what his technology, his pseudo sign. You know what I'm saying? That greatest sword is what the IBCM missile, which in fact is the indignation of Yahweh Baal Shem Abishai. So this man right here had power to kill, to bring forth war, death and destruction. That's why the Lord said in Proverbs chapter, I think 16, around verse 4, he said the wicked was created for the day of evil. So we read upon the day of evil. These evils are constantly growing left and right. Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation. All hell is getting ready to break loose. A lot of people, I don't want to hear that. I don't believe that. You don't have to believe. We don't give a damn. It's going down. And one thing about it, we're going to stay on fire for Yahweh Baal Shem Abishai all the way to the finish line. We already know that famine of the word is coming. We already know that, that we will be persecuted. But even in death, the Lord said He will give you a crown of life. Trust and believe in Yahweh Baal Shem Abishai. Tensions are constantly rising all over the place. The vibration is changing. That's why the Lord said this in Zephaniah chapter 3. We'll probably close that here. Not meant to be a long lesson tonight. Zephaniah, let's close out here. Zephaniah might get one more, depending on how the Spirit goes. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 8. This is exactly what the Lord is doing. And also He wants us to wait patiently. You know what I'm saying? Constantly endure, because the Lord, He's getting ready to show up. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 8 said, therefore wait Salakia. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 8 again, it said, therefore wait ye upon me, says the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. The Lord's getting ready to do that. For my determination is to gather the nation. The Lord is doing that now, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So those IBCM missiles and also that laser and chariot fire. The Lord is getting ready to cleanse this place. And one thing about it, He's getting ready to make a speedy riddance of this place. Why we seeing these tensions are sprouting up pretty much across the world. Tensions, in an unusual place like India and Pakistan, we already know it's going to lead into something else. You know what I'm saying? We already know that something else is World War III. The war drums are beating. Tensions is rising all across the world. A lot of uncertainties. A lot of people are being right now are seeing that dark forecast. Things right now don't look good. And they're not going to look good. The sense of normalcy, a sense of something is getting ready to happen. We know these things are right before our, and also we know that what our salvation is at the door, and also the great and glorious return of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is at the door. So the title of the daily lesson, once again, is News and Prophecies, World Tension. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rekah Kwadash Kwam Yasharala DTA Abab Abal Shalom Shalom.